Then I get an email saying, I don't think this meeting needs to happen to address the concerns. So at that point, I go back to the head of school and say, are you sure about that? Because these are serious clinical concerns about how I manage pediatric patients. I want to know what these concerns are.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy with me going back to work as head of school and dealing with pediatric patients when he is stating that there are serious concerns? She says, well, that's something I need to find out, and I'll get back to you. Anyway, so I was told I could go back to work on October the 17th. I didn't actually go back to work till November the 14th. In that period of time, I keep emailing the head of school, asking when this meeting is going to take place, and also asking if she could send me the concerns. I want the list of concerns so that I can have time to reflect and think about them before I go to the meeting. No, she ums and ahs and doesn't send me anything. Then on the 3rd of November, I get the final letter from the medical director, and this is a letter of advice. In that letter, he says, I have a concern regarding your clinical knowledge relating to the care of fitting children arising out of the detailed statement you provided to me about the incident.
Mm.
So now I'm further confused because
Now it's talking about clinical knowledge.
now it's talking about clinical knowledge. Yeah. So first it says there's a number of clinical concerns regarding the management of acutely unwell children. But now he's saying he has a concern regarding my clinical knowledge relating to the care of a fitting child. Okay. At this point, I still have not had sight of what the concerns are. I go back again to the head of school and say, can you please send me the list of the concerns? Finally, around the 17th of November, she sends me an email with the concerns. These are clinical concerns. These are also meant to be concerns regarding my clinical knowledge. Right, Maz, when I read them concerns, my mind is blown even further. So when I have sight of these concerns, I get this email on the 17th of November. We have a meeting scheduled for the 24th of November to discuss the concerns. And again, these are meant to be concerns around my clinical knowledge and a number of clinical concerns regarding the management of acutely unwell children. Again, I was never the doctor that night, so again, I don't know what he's on about. Anyway, when I read the first concern, and I read it out exactly what was written, whether it was appropriate to contact the mother of the 3 children who had died from the same disease suffered from by Sagir Hanif's nephew when his nephew was acutely unwell due to a seizure. This could have significantly distressed the mother. So when I read that, I was even more confused. How has this got anything to do with my clinical knowledge? And how is this a clinical concern? Who I contact in relation to my nephew has got nothing to do with my work, has got nothing to do with me being a doctor, and has got nothing to do with him. So I reply back to the head of school and say, he raises clinical concerns, he raises concerns about my clinical knowledge. I don't see how that statement and these points align. She states, if we try and be too reductive, I don't think we will get a satisfactory outcome, and I am keen to call this matter to a close as soon as possible. To which I then responded, I am also keen to call this matter to a close as soon as possible. And at that point, I said I'd want to bring Dr. M to the meeting. I was told it wasn't appropriate to bring her, and therefore I then said I want to record this meeting and I want to bring my program director to the meeting. They agreed to both, said, yes, you can bring the program director and you can record the meeting, but you cannot share the meeting, record a meeting with anybody without their written consent. Fine. Then I attended this Teams meeting on the 24th of November with the head of school, with my program director present, and all 4 clinical concerns were put forward. I address each concern and highlight that I don't see the clinical relevance. I don't see how this has got anything to do with my clinical knowledge. Therefore, can she please explain it to me? She isn't able to explain it to me and states to me that she's just doing what the medical director has told her to do, which is to address the concerns. To which I then say, fine, you've addressed the concerns. I've responded and given you my answers. I don't see the clinical relevance. Therefore, all I can say is that these are just vexatious claims.
Mm-hmm.
And we left the meeting to that. She then said, well, on reflection, what I'm hearing is that if you were in the same situation again, you would do the same thing again. To which I responded, yes, I would do exactly the same thing when it comes to my nephew. I would again take advice from somebody who knows about that condition. But the only thing I would do different is that next time I ended up in A&E, I'd make sure there was a camera around my neck so that I can record what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we left the meeting, and that was the end of that.